Yes, there are different people with different backgrounds, but that doesn't matter. We're all one nation. I mean, yeah. So you are preparing for IELTS writing? Hey, you're at the right place. Welcome to IELTS Juice. Let's start assessing one essay today. Nowadays, more people get married to someone of a different culture than they ever did. Why is this happening? Discuss both benefits and the merits of this trend. Okay, I need to say one thing about the rubric. We call this part the topic. So the topic is the first line. There are certain elements in it. First, nowadays. It's very important. It is a modern thing. So when we are going to write, we should not start by saying like in the human history, it has always been like this and things like that. We're not talking about the history. It's a modern thing. We need to focus on that. More people get married to someone of a different culture. So we're talking about people who get married to other people from a different culture. Now, this is a new trend because in the past, people would get married to the people of their own tribe or of their own country, and they were limited to the options that they were given at that geographical location. But that is changed, or that has been changed somehow. Now, in the modern era, this is a new trend. We need to talk about the reason behind it. Why is it happening? And we also need to say what the benefits and the demerits, or I don't know, disadvantages of this trend are. And it's plural, so we need to come up with at least two. Let's focus on the response. It is true that in today's world, more and more people tend to get married to someone with a different culture. Good. I mean, the response in this first sentence understood the gist of the topic, of the rubric that we just read together. I like it. I love this sentence. I love the approach. I love the opening. Let's continue. I believe globalization with the British spelling, Americans tend to write Z or Z as they say here, is the key reason for this trend. Okay, so we have one reason, and that's called globalization. We're pointing our fingers at globalization as the main cause of this trend. And there are negative and positive results brought about by it. Okay, fair. We have, again, in this second sentence, we were able to understand the gist of the topic presented up above that we just read. All in all, this is a very good introduction. I see two sentences, both of them fully understood the requirements of the topic so far, and I'm happy. We're going to continue reading the other paragraphs. Globalization means shrinking of the world. That's a good way to put it. Due to better communications among nations. Okay. So we have communication as we are explaining globalization, and now we're talking about communication in globalization. Let's see where it leads us to. This could be the main reason for people's inclination. Beautiful. To marry, inclination to marry beyond their cultures. Okay. Firstly, by introducing the internet to the world, People have got to know other cultures more often than ever, and even have started to fall for someone with another religion or racial heritage. Okay, nice. Secondly, more convenient traveling, which is with one L, or if you put two L's, both spelling variations are fine, due to the progress in transportation. Oh, I see. Now, you see, guys, uh, we are talking about globalization as the reason why people get married to other people who are in different culture or who comes from a different background. We know that. We just focused on globalization. But that's not one thing to discuss. The writer has decided to break down globalization into subsections. This is the main reason, but that's not all. There is a subsection called communication. Now, people can communicate with each other easily now because there's internet, and the internet will help everybody to just contact, regardless of distance between them. The second thing here is the convenience of traveling. Now, if you want to travel to a certain location, you just buy flight tickets and a visa, of course, you apply for, and then you just go there. That's brilliant. This is a very good way. Instead of coming up with two parallel reasons, equally important, we have one major reason, but the major reason is divided into subsections. So far, I see two. Maybe there is more. Provide people the opportunity. This is not needed. Why is there a full stop here? Secondly, more convenient traveling due to progress in transportation. I guess you need to remove this and say provides people with the opportunity to travel around the world, make friends, another comma here, and even opt for a mate in a land. You opt for a mate. That's a weird way. That's a weird collocation. You usually find a mate. You don't opt for a mate. I don't know, guys. When was the last time you were at a dinner table with a friend, or maybe it was a date, and your date arrives, and she or he slides forward a piece of paper, and you look at it, and it's written the terms of service or terms of friendship, and there's this long list of requirements and policies. There are bullet points, there are numbers, there are sections, there are subsections, and they tell you what that individual expects you to do in this friendship or in this relationship. And there is, at the bottom, there's a part you have to write your name and sign and put a date, and you say, yeah, I agree with the terms of friendship or with the terms of service or whatever relationship. That would mean to opt for a service, but you normally wouldn't do that. I don't know, maybe you have done it. If you have done it already, guys, or if you have seen someone do this, put it in the comments below, but I'm not very sure. So that's not a good collocation here. And in a land far, far, far away, in a galaxy far, far away. That's a beautiful reference to Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan, by the way, but hey, come on. We're not talking about me here. I wouldn't put an exclamation mark anywhere at IELTS. I can safely tell you that there is pretty much no instance at IELTS that you can go ahead and put an exclamation mark. Done. Nothing. We don't need an exclamation mark anywhere, not in task 2, not in task 1 report, not in task 1 letter, definitely not in a formal letter. Maybe in very, very rare circumstances, you might want to consider putting an exclamation mark somewhere in an informal letter, which is again not recommended. So just forget it because it is very informal and it is more suited to chats and coming up with emotions. And in order for the individual to fully understand what you mean, you need to have history with that individual. You need to have been friends with that individual for quite some time so that they get what you basically mean in the chat when you put an exclamation mark. And last time I checked, I think we don't have any history with any of our IELTS assessors, so at IDP or British Council. So take my advice, forget it. Finally, oh, this is the third subsection of globalization. Media, I would say the media. Recently, the word media has become very okay, and people use it loosely without the article the. But preferably, when you look it up in a dictionary, in a reputable dictionary, you still see that it is labeled as the media, like the newspaper, like the radio, like the internet. So media should be the media. I don't think this is a mistake, but just bear in mind, we need to rely on reputable dictionaries. We don't have any other choices. So the media plays a huge part in eliminating the cultural barriers between people, like that. Every yare, the E is extra. Every year, I need a comma here, many newspapers and educational movies are being produced. Yes, you can produce movies, but we don't produce newspapers. We publish newspapers. We publish books. We don't have a giant machine. From one end, you have pieces of paper and some ink, and you pour into the machine, and from the other, you have like essential words for IELTS book being produced. That's you can't produce a car like that, but a book needs to be published. Somebody needs to write it, and then these machines will scale it. So or will make copies of it. And educational movies are being it's better to say every year many newspapers are being published and educational movies are being produced against bigotry, I don't need this O, and racism. Very good words. These are words I say genre specific. These are about the topic that we're talking about here. I like them. Which help bring people to the conclusion that they are one big nation regardless of their background. This is so beautiful. This is just nice. Yes, there are different people with different backgrounds, but that doesn't matter. We're all one nation. I mean, yeah. This trend could be both beneficial and detrimental. Very good word. On the one hand, people's getting married beyond their cultures, religions, races, comma, and nations creates a world with more affection and compassion. I like those words. This was a rather long sentence, but it's good. There is good control over it. Like the fact that people are getting married to other people with these backgrounds, religious, cultural, racial, blah, blah. This brings more affection and compassion, in which fewer conflicts. I love this. The writer knows that conflict is a countable noun, so we need fewer, not less. Not less conflicts, we need fewer conflicts. Concerning racial matters exist. Concerning racial matters exist. Lovely. Furthermore, building biracial families brings about a more hopeful future in terms of cultural diversity or diversity, both pronunciations are fine, in the next generation. Good. I have two benefits. A world becomes more compassionate, and also we have more diversity. Both of them are positive notes. Very good. But I don't have any examples. I mean, I received the message, but have I received the message in full? No. On the other hand, this trend could sometimes trigger conflicts between couples due to I don't need a comma. I'm still listening. The message still continues. Due to having district ideas, no, strict ideas. District, it means neighborhood. Strict ideas about different subjects. Besides, it could lead to confusion among the children. Again, I don't need this comma. Because of parents, correct punctuation, different traditions and beliefs. Good. I see due to detrimental items. I don't see any examples. And I understand that because we ran out of space, ran out of time probably. You see, this one is already a beefy, large paragraph. I understand that you might want to skip examples. You don't get the full score for task response. In conclusion, there are several reasons contributing to the increase in bicultural marriages, and to my view, and in my view, in my opinion, it could create both good and bad results. I'm not a fan of these two words. Good and bad are very boring words. They don't give you extra scores. How about both favorable and unfavorable results? How about that? You see? Isn't it much better? Come on. 326 words. Let's look at the band descriptors. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So we don't have full response. And yes, and some ideas were overgeneralized. We didn't have a specific example to talk about, but that doesn't mean it was bad. So it's just 7. In task response, you get a 7. If there were a couple of examples in the response, this could go to 8 maybe. Depends on how the examples were developed and written. Coherence and cohesion, I didn't like the conclusion. The conclusion was just one sentence. And another issue, I need to go back and show it to you guys with this paragraph. This paragraph has, I wouldn't like to call it 2 topic sentences, but I have 2 aspects of the same topic. The topic here is we have a trend that people marry other people from other backgrounds, different than theirs. And this has both benefits and demerits. Saying both of them in one paragraph is a very difficult task, really hard. I prefer we have two separate paragraphs, one about the positive aspect of this trend and one about the negative aspect of this trend. Mixing them both in one paragraph is very hard. It is beyond our writing skills and abilities to correctly execute it. So that may be one of the contributing factors to this low score in paragraphing. The lexical resource was great. I picked up a couple of vocabulary errors. I don't know. I mean, that yare, that year with an extra E, is just a slip. That's not a big deal. And if there are some, like, you don't know the word media, that's an error, of course, but it doesn't affect my communication. It doesn't affect my understanding. And even the media is written media. It is becoming a norm. I mean, the language is evolving. So you may see media without the article the here and there. Those things happen. I had a couple of issues. One extra period or full stop that confused me a bit, and there were a couple of unnecessary commas again that those contributed to the grammar. But the complex structures, you were with me, you saw that the structures were very, I mean, they came with correct command and control. So that part was very, very good. Oh, I forgot to mention that the range in vocabulary was very good, I mean, wide. I loved the words, the general words, and I also saw some genre-specific words, and I loved all of them. On that note, I just want to remind you again that your essays, letters, or reports are going to be your representatives one way or another. So take every letter, every report, or every essay you write very seriously and make sure that they do their jobs very well. Have a lovely day.